Welcome to Tamer Bowling Video Ball Reviews.
We need your support, so if you like what we do, please support us by joining our Patreon page.
I'm excited to announce our new partnership with Pure Bowling. Visit our partner pureitbowling.com and use the special code TAMER when making a purchase to be entered into a monthly drawing. Today we're testing the brand new Hammer Statement Pearl. We're testing on a 40-foot medium house shot and a 45-foot PBA Dick Weber pattern. First impressions, the Hammer Statement Pearl has a boxing glove looking core shape, and it's apropos as this thing along with the solid really punch their weight. For value, we gave the Statement Pearl an A-. You probably shouldn't be too surprised with a pretty high score we give this Pearl A-Sim. The ball worked well for all testers in multiple conditions. It really feels versatile with a reliable shape. Overall, we gave the Statement Pearl an A- on house shot, B on sport shot. Hammer is releasing the solid and pearl version of the Statement, similar to what they did with the ripped hybrid and ripped solid. I was trying to think how to describe this ball while I watched back my ball reaction, and the truth is, whether I was throwing the ball well or not, the Statement Pearl just seemed to work and carry. That in and of itself is telling. The A-Sim Statement core has a type of shape that not only gives it a definitive move, but one that's rounded, that drives very well. And sometimes low RG strong A-Sims have sharp moves off the end of the pattern, but can get into a very quick end-over-end roll. And this one has that sharp move, but keeps going. And the Aggression Pearl CFI cover stock is a strong pearl with a shiny finish. Add that to this low RG core, and you have a very efficient motion that really means this ball is not as far from the solid strength as you would think. This ball was very forgiving for me. Miss out and it made a huge move back I wasn't expecting. I'd rather leave a 7-pin than a washout. Miss in and I left an 8-pin instead of a bucket, which can happen sometimes on a flooded house shot. While the Statement is clearly stronger, it's only a couple of boards, but the solid actually gave me less forgiveness because while it isn't much stronger in terms of board coverage, it definitively has more traction, so it digs in harder from in and burns up more from out. Sean was next, and by now you shouldn't be surprised he enjoyed the Statement Pearl, not only because it's a Pearl A-Sim, but the shape was so attractive to his eye. It's that kind of shape that feels controllable but keeps coming, as I mentioned. It's just the way it revs up. The ball and core transitions in a very readable way. Shot after shot, it was money for Sean. He's going about 18-5, and the ball's creating very strong angles. He chased in to see what reaction he would get. It was around 22-9, where the breakpoint's a little in, that hit a bit flat and left the 10-pin. He also tried the more up the back, lower axis rotation release that he uses occasionally, but it wasn't quite as good for him.
Just as I saw, Sean saw the same with the Hammer Statement, about the same line, but just definitively more traction, and that will be more noticeable with more volume.
Bryan was next with the Statement Pearl, and he immediately realized this is one strong pearl. These sometimes float on him, but he had a definitive motion off the spot. In fact, it felt stronger than the solid Statement off the spot, and part of that may just be a little hook spot he created by tossing the Statement just before. Nevertheless, he had a really good look somewhere around 12-6. He can get it to the pocket from many angles. He did leave a 7 if he bumped a little too far in, and he also left a 10-pin on a ripper. Also had a 6-pin bouncing, the friction a bit too early. Nevertheless, Bryan enjoyed throwing a Pearl A-Sim strong enough that it read the lanes consistently for him.
About the same shape for the solid, but I would say Bryan probably saw some more consistency out of the solid on this pattern.
For the sport shot, we're testing on the 45-foot Dick Weber pattern, and just like the solid version, the Statement Pearl also nosed up on my preferred line, going up the boards around 6. I had to open up the angles, so 7-4 would work. I moved into about 12-6 also, which worked with the solid, but the pearl was a bit too long from there. Also moved into about 19-10, a slow roller, and that looked pretty good. But overall,
I would say the polished pearl's a bit too over-under for me on the fresh sport shot. For Sean, about 17 to 9 worked well. Again, the ball is still really strong, so misses in are a no-go. But for Sean, this is less over-under due to his rev rate that seems to blend a bit better. For Bryan, about 10 to 9 worked very well. He had some miss room for the high hard one. Bryan was surprised that, again, this was not much different in strength from the solid, and he had more over and less under with this ball. Final thoughts. Ultimately, the two statement balls are going to be well received because they are excellent pieces. The solid version gives the extra pop down lane that will assist many bowlers with carry. The Pearl has the same punch but will be even more versatile for house shots because it isn't only strong, but the blend of strong Pearl in this core makes it more forgiving. On sport, its clean look and strong down lane motion means you'd probably look for a little breakdown. In the end, the two statement balls are impressive additions that really provide something different in Hammer's top line.
安迪都带有多，Tamer Elbaga reviews.